afternoon. The only thing that keeps you away from the cocktail, it's our panel, so make sure we finish quickly, please. Shipping 4.0. Without coming here, I was just saying, oh my God, I'm gonna do the same presentation I did 3 years ago, or 4 years ago. I don't really remember, I think it was 3 years ago. I do the same one I did in Athens twice with Apostles. So decided to go completely different and show how we think in Tototheo Maritime we approach technology and shipping 4.0. And therefore we're going to talk about shipping in an era of transformation. Now, I am not a Zoomer. I'm not Generation X. I'm not Generation Millennial. I'm a baby boomer. So I remember, if I can find it. That's the realities of your yesterday, and those realities are not that far away. In one of those pictures is Limassol in 1974. That's 50 years ago, half a century or something, and that's what you've got today. And this is a transition that happened for no reason. No, we were living the times of euphoria after the Second World War, and we end up to this because we wanted goods to be transferred by ship cheaply, in a much faster way, much more reliable, and hopefully in a nicer environment. Unfortunately, the reality of it today and the societal needs are completely different. Close the port and open a farm. Stop the cruises, don't open a port. I think the second one is from Palma, and many of you, most probably your operators of the traditional shipping, but cruises, especially in the Mediterranean, they are facing major problems like that. And if you go to Venice every summer, it's a spectacle to see what's going on there. But then the next thing you have to understand, you have activism and social justice. They're demanding something, and you need to deliver it. How we deliver it, first of all, we have to find out what are they demanding for. New fuels, is that the solution? Sustainable environment in general, it's very nice to say, but the end goal is simple, it's sustainability, so they want sustainable shipping. And the sustainability is all you see there, is the 3 pillars as defined by the European Union, not as defined by the United States of America. So you have environment, social, and economic, that's the 3 pillars. Let's start then. What is the value of sustainability? You can read what I put there. It's a lovely sentence. What you have to remember, though, it's an ongoing process. It's not something you do today. Oh, I discovered ammonia. Thank you very much for solving our problem. No, because ammonia will have another problem the year after. Oh, blue oxygen, green oxygen, or whatever you may call them. So, at the moment, you are facing the following problem. Air emissions. Air emissions are not climate change. It's a pollution. Then you have climate change, which is greenhouse gases, and at the moment you're very lucky, you're dealing with one of them, which is the carbon dioxide. Then you have to find alternative fuels to solve the climate change problem, but you might not falling to solving air emissions. You've got one regional organization and one global organization, not meaning synchronization, that's the IMO and the EU, and you're looking for sustainability. It's a long way to Timberary, I have to say. Now, I will start now giving you what I think it can help us as an industry that all calling us that we are followers and not leaders, and we are taking technology or anything else that it comes to us reactively because we need to have a regulation, and it takes time for that regulation to come into force. Now, technology is the #1 process or science that actually can help every single operator to go closer to the goal of sustainability. And you can use any one of those. If you have a question about that, our process outside, you can read what we offer. But you can use IoTs, you can use computers, whatever you may call it. The answer is, do we know how to use it? Or do we produce the technology we need proactively, or we only do it reactively? Now, in the morning, I had lots of things about training. I agree with every single position I had. I have no objection. But read please what I say there. We all know how to use this thing. Yes or no? Someone gave us a manual, we press the button, we go anywhere we like. We have no clue, some of us do, some of us don't, how it works. So if I don't know more or less how it works, how am I making it be on my benefit? So Shipping 4.0 is not only delivering processes and services in the market, but it's a joint effort that we all work together, the provider, the user, the buyer, the seller, so we can, at the end of the day, give a product or a service to the end user, and the one who's actually going to implement it, that is going to make use of it and succeed to its end goal. Then, of course, you all lived in a very interesting times, as the Chinese are saying, crisis. Crises are a challenge, but they are a huge opportunity. At the moment, we're facing with the pandemic, and the pandemic actually succeeded the first two things I'm saying there, because it actually, the government is the first time they went out of their pocket and they gave subsidies. So they also contributed money-wise, but also they taught us you have to use technology to do the so-called remote working or remote surveys and stuff like that, that we were not going to do it anyway. Another good thing that happened, they stopped us traveling with airplanes, so we didn't have lots of CO2s going in there for a while. Now, there was a second one though, back to back. Another event which was low probability but a high risk event, and that was the war in Ukraine. That shows the volatility and the problems we're facing with transferring commodities. But nobody thought of that. Neither the war, neither the COVID. Question, why? We had the Hong Kong flu in 1968. It wasn't that long ago. I'm not going to go to the 1900s where the original pictures come from. Next one, social. We need to think outside of the box. The human has to be in the loop. Good example, some aeroplanes, I don't think they need the pilot, but they do have the pilot. So an autonomous ship to the full scale level, it doesn't mean it will make me not necessary. ChatGPT, as you know, and everybody's shouting about ChatGPT and Perplexity or whatever you call them, Bing and Bart from Google, I love them. But when I asked them to tell me who I am, they could have found the name of my mom and my dad. They found everything else I put on the internet, okay? They found everything else that I exchanged by email, but they didn't make me irrelevant, because I still can say I'm the son of John. He didn't know that. What I'm trying to say, they are tools that they will make our life easier, provided we know how to use them. In order to produce them and make our life easier, and also end up with us having sustainable ending, we need to work all together from the beginning. As the technology companies, you as the users, or the buyers, or the ones that you're going to implement. Therefore, the way forward, it's a socioeconomic and a market-related issue, and every company has to do it by its own, and it has to point on sustainability. Comply with the environmental regulations. I don't say comply with safety regulations, because safety regulations are so prescriptive and so specific. Well, when it comes to environmental regulations, apart from MARPOL and several others from IMO, the rest are national. You don't even know what they are. So you need a technological tool to tell you when you cross this line from here to here, you end up in an ECHA. That's good, we find it in MARPOL. But if we end up in a particularly sensitive sea area in an obscure environment, you wouldn't know. So you need a program, you need the guidance about it. Create sustainable work environment. Increase your vessel sufficiencies. You can use TM Synergy for us, and use sustainable alternatives. And there are many sustainable alternatives if we think out of the box. For example, in your house, if you're going to buy 20 bottles of plastic water, water in plastic bottles, and there are 20, just get a crate and put them on. You don't need to cover them with extra plastic. If you do that, then we get rid of the microplastics in the ocean. The way forward for the industry then is a completely different concept. It needs to synergize with the financial sector, the ports, the governments, the NGOs. It has to implement existing international and national policies, It needs to give incentives, it needs to upscale best practices and available financial tools and investments. So in a nutshell, what I'm trying to say today, we like it or not, on my final note, we're ending up in an ESG environment, and you need Shipping 4.0 to achieve it. You need to understand what is ESG, and I agree with the last speaker, who was the professor, who said, hey, if I'm a small company, they told me to shut down. Not necessarily. If you package your good correctly and it's not greenwashing, you can have ESG. And if you have ESG, then you'll be able to. So you can do something about it. You can package it in a nice way and convince your financial institution that it needs to give you the money. In conclusion, why I made this presentation is to inspire some discussion, and I can explain you what I'm selling. Thank you very much.